Picture this. You're standing on the edge of a cliff, the wind howling in your ears, the ground crumbling beneath your feet. Below, a churning sea of chaos, bills piling up, deadlines suffocating you, relationships fraying at the edges. Your heart races, your mind screams, the world feels like it's closing in, a predator circling its prey. You want to run, to hide, to scream at the universe, "Why me?" But no one answers. The storm doesn't care, it never does. And in that moment, you feel it, that raw, gnawing anxiety, that quiet panic whispering, "You're not enough, you're going to break." We've all been there. Maybe you're there right now. The job that's draining your soul, the friend who betrayed you, the dream that slipped through your fingers like sand. Life doesn't just test you, it punishes you. It throws curveballs, then laughs when you swing and miss. But what if I told you that the chaos isn't your enemy? That the storm isn't here to destroy you, but to forge you? What if the secret to standing tall when the world tries to break you lies not in fighting the storm, but in mastering it? This isn't some feel-good motivational speech. This is a battle cry, a call to arms for your mind, your spirit, your very existence. Because in a world that thrives on chaos, resilience isn't just a skill, it's your greatest weapon. Welcome to Emorations. Today, we're diving deep into the art of resilience, guided by the ancient wisdom of the Stoics. Men like Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus, who faced empires, exile, and death with a calm that feels almost superhuman. They didn't just survive chaos, they thrived in it. And their philosophy, sharp as a blade and timeless as stone, offers us a map to do the same. This isn't just a video, it's a journey. A descent into the heart of what it means to stand unbroken when the world wants you on your knees. So, buckle up, grab a coffee, or maybe something stronger, because we're about to unravel the Stoic secrets to rising above chaos, to turning pain into power, and to walking through life's storms with a smirk that says, "Is that all you've got?" Let's begin. Let's start with a truth we all know but rarely admit. Life is a mess. A beautiful, brutal, unpredictable mess. One day you're on top of the world, new job, new love, new dreams, sparkling like stars. The next, your boss is breathing down your neck, your partner's gone cold, and those dreams, they're buried under a pile of what-ifs and if-onlys. You didn't ask for this. Nobody does. But chaos doesn't send invitations. It just shows up, unannounced, like that one relative who always overstays their welcome. Think about the last time life blindsided you. Maybe it was a betrayal, a friend who ghosted you when you needed them most. Maybe it was a failure, a project you poured your heart into, only to watch it crash and burn. Or maybe it's the quiet, creeping dread of waking up every morning wondering, is this all there is? We've all felt that sting, that moment when the ground shifts and you're left scrambling to find your footing. It's not just you, it's all of us, because to be human is to live in a world that doesn't play fair. And here's the kicker, we're taught to fear chaos, to avoid it at all costs. Society sells us this fantasy that if we just work hard enough, plan carefully enough, be good enough, we can outrun the storm. Get the right degree, the right job, the right partner, and you'll be safe, happy, untouchable. But then life laughs. It sends a layoff, a heartbreak, a diagnosis, and suddenly your perfect plan is a pile of ashes. And you're left standing there wondering why the universe seems to have a personal vendetta against you. But what if chaos isn't the villain? What if it's not here to punish you, but to teach you? The Stoics, those ancient philosophers who stared down emperors and exile with a shrug, knew something we've forgotten. They knew that chaos isn't an accident. It's the crucible where resilience is born. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor who ruled through wars, plagues, and betrayal, wrote in his Meditations, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Think about that. The man running an empire with enemies at every corner didn't waste his energy cursing the chaos. He mastered it. He didn't control the world, he controlled himself. Seneca, another Stoic heavyweight, took it even further. Exiled to a barren island by a paranoid emperor, he didn't sulk or beg for mercy. He wrote, "There is nothing the wise man does reluctantly. He escapes necessity because he wills what necessity is going to force on him." In other words, Seneca didn't just endure chaos. He embraced it. He saw it as a teacher, not a tormentor. And Epictetus, a former slave who earned his freedom through sheer grit, put it bluntly, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." These men weren't motivational gurus spouting platitudes. They were warriors of the mind, forged in the fires of real-world suffering. They didn't have the luxury of a cozy life, and yet they found a way to not just survive, but to thrive. Their secret? They understood that resilience isn't about avoiding chaos. It's about dancing with it. It's about standing in the eye of the storm and saying, "I'm still here." So let's pause for a second. Think about your own storms. The moments that broke you, or almost did. The job you lost. The friend who stabbed you in the back. The dream that didn't come true. What if those weren't punishments, but invitations? Invitations to become something stronger, wiser, unbreakable. That's what the Stoics are whispering to us across the centuries. And if you're ready to listen, this video is about to show you how to answer that call. So, how do you rise above chaos? How do you stand tall when the world feels like it's collapsing around you? The Stoics didn't just leave us with pretty quotes. They gave us a playbook, a battle-tested set of principles to navigate life's storms with clarity and strength. Let's break it down piece by piece and see how their wisdom can transform the way you face the chaos in your own life. Principle 1. Control what you can, release what you can't. Here's a story. Imagine you're stuck in traffic, late for the most important meeting of your career. Horns are blaring, your phone's blowing up with texts from your boss, and your blood pressure's through the roof. You're gripping the steering wheel like it's the neck of your worst enemy, cursing every car in sight. Sound familiar? Now, ask yourself, does your anger change the traffic? Does your stress make the cars move faster? Of course not. You're burning energy on something you can't control, and it's eating you alive. Epictetus would look at you and say, "You're doing it wrong." In his Enchiridion, he wrote, "Some things are within our control, and some things are not. Within our control are opinion, pursuit, desire, aversion, and our own actions. Things not in our control are body, property, reputation, command, and everything else that is not our doing." In other words, you can't control the traffic, the weather, or what other people think of you, but you can control how you respond, your thoughts, your attitude, your next move. This is the Stoic doctrine of the dichotomy of control, and it's a game changer. Picture it like this. Life is a raging river, and you're in a small boat. You can't stop the current, but you can steer. You can choose whether to paddle with purpose or let the waves toss you around like a rag doll. The Stoics teach us to focus only on the paddle, our choices, our mindset, our actions. Everything else, let it go. Stop wasting energy on what you can't change and pour it into what you can. Let's make it real. Think about the last time you lost sleep over something outside your control. Maybe it was a co-worker's snarky comment or a news headline that made your blood boil. What if, Instead of stewing, you asked yourself, what's in my control right now? Maybe it's how you respond to that coworker, calmly, confidently, without letting their words under your skin. Maybe it's turning off the news and focusing on your own goals. The moment you stop fighting the river and start steering your boat, you reclaim your power. That's resilience in action. Principle 2. Embrace the obstacle. Now, let's get to the part that sounds insane, but is secretly brilliant. The Stoics didn't just tolerate chaos, they welcomed it. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." Wrap your head around that for a second. The thing blocking your path? That's not your enemy. It's your teacher. The obstacle isn't stopping you. It's showing you how to grow. Let's say you lose your job. Devastating, right? Your first instinct is to panic, to rage, to feel like the universe has it out for you. But what if you flipped the script? What if you saw that loss as a chance to pivot, to learn a new skill, to chase a dream you've been too scared to pursue? The Stoics called this amor fati, the love of fate. It's not about pretending everything's fine, it's about saying, this is my reality, now what can I do with it? Here's a quick story to drive it home. A few years ago, a friend of mine, let's call her Sarah, got dumped by her fiancé. She was shattered. Years of planning, dreaming, building a life together, gone in a single conversation. She could have spiraled. She could have spent months obsessing over what went wrong, but instead she took a page from the Stoics. She asked herself, what can I control? She couldn't make him stay, but she could rebuild herself. She signed up for a coding boot camp, something she'd always wanted to try but never had the courage to. Fast forward a year, and she's not just surviving, she's thriving, working a job she loves, surrounded by people who value her. The breakup didn't break her, it built her. That's what Marcus meant when he said the obstacle is the way. Chaos isn't here to destroy you, it's here to sculpt you. The job loss, the betrayal, the failure, they're raw materials. Your job is to carve something extraordinary out of them. So the next time life throws a punch, don't duck. Lean into it. Ask, what can this teach me? Because every storm carries a lesson, if you're brave enough to learn it. Principle 3. Reframe your pain. Let's talk about pain. Not the physical kind, but the deeper, uglier kind. The kind that keeps you up at night, replaying conversations, reliving mistakes, questioning your worth. We've all been there, staring at the ceiling at 2 a.m., wondering why life feels like a personal attack. The Stoics didn't shy away from pain. They stared it in the face and said, "You don't own me." Seneca wrote, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." Think about that. How many times have you tortured yourself with what-ifs? What if I'd said something different? What if I'd tried harder? What if I'm not good enough? Your mind becomes a prison, and you're both the inmate and the warden. But the Stoics teach us to break free by reframing the story we tell ourselves. Here's how it works. Let's say you bomb a presentation at work. Your face burns, your stomach churns, and you're convinced everyone thinks you're a fraud. The Stoic approach: step back, look at the facts. You made a mistake. Okay, fine. Did anyone die? No. Will this moment define your career? Probably not. So why are you letting it define your worth? Reframe it. This was a chance to learn. I'll do better next time. Suddenly, the pain isn't a punishment, it's a stepping stone. This isn't about toxic positivity or pretending everything's fine. It's about choosing the lens through which you see your suffering. Seneca used to practice premeditatio malorum, premeditating on evils. He'd imagine the worst-case scenarios, not to scare himself, but to prepare. By facing the possibility of failure, loss, or betrayal head-on, he stripped those fears of their power. You can do the same. The next time anxiety creeps in, ask, what's the worst that could happen? And if it does, can I handle it? Spoiler alert, you can. You're tougher than you think. Principle 4. Act with virtue, no matter the storm. Here's where the Stoics get really radical. They believe that resilience isn't just about surviving chaos, it's about staying true to your values, even when the world tempts you to compromise. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it." Sounds simple, but in a world that rewards cutting corners and playing dirty, it's revolutionary. Think about the pressure to conform, to stay quiet when you see something wrong, to go along with the crowd because it's easier than standing alone. The Stoics would say that's a trap. True resilience isn't just about enduring hardship. It's about holding on to your integrity when everything's falling apart. It's about being the person who says, "No, I won't cheat, even if it costs me," or "I'll speak the truth, even if it makes me unpopular." Let's make it personal. Imagine you're in a toxic workplace. Your boss is a bully, your colleagues are backstabbers, and every day feels like a battle. The easy move is to play their game, gossip, scheme, kiss up to get ahead. But the Stoic move? Stay above it. Do your work with excellence, treat others with respect, and walk away with your head held high. That's not weakness, it's power. Because when you act with virtue, you're not just surviving the storm, you're shaping it. Now let's get real. Why is resilience so hard? Why do we crumble when life gets tough, even when we know better? Because we've been fed lies, lies we've internalized, lies that keep us fragile. The Stoics saw through these illusions, and their wisdom can help us shatter them. Let's unpack the biggest lies we tell ourselves about chaos and resilience. Lie number 1. If I avoid chaos, I'll be safe. We spend so much energy trying to build a life free of chaos. The perfect job, the perfect relationship, the perfect plan. We think if we can just get everything in order, we'll be untouchable. But life doesn't work that way. Chaos isn't an exception, it's the rule. The Stoics knew this. They didn't waste time chasing a utopia where nothing goes wrong. They prepared for the inevitable. Seneca wrote, "Fate leads the willing and drags along the reluctant." You can't avoid chaos, but you can choose how to meet it. Stop waiting for the perfect moment to live your life. Stop thinking you'll be ready when everything's fixed. The truth is, you're never fully prepared, and that's okay. Resilience isn't about having all the answers, it's about moving forward anyway. Lie number 2, I'm not strong enough. This one's a killer. How many times have you told yourself, I can't handle this? After a breakup, a failure, a loss, it's easy to feel like you're too weak to keep going. But the Stoics would call that nonsense. Epictetus said, "You have within you, right now, everything you need to deal with whatever the world can throw at you." Think about it. You've survived every bad day you've ever had, every heartbreak, every rejection, every moment you thought would break you. You're still here. That's not luck, that's strength. The Stoics teach us to stop underestimating ourselves. You're not fragile, you're a force of nature, built to adapt, endure, and overcome. The next time you doubt your strength, remember, you've already won battles you thought you'd lose. Lie number 3, other people will save me. Here's a hard truth. No one's coming to rescue you. Not your friends, not your family, not the universe. We grow up believing that if we're good, if we're kind, someone will swoop in when things get tough. But the Stoics knew better. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You are the master of your own happiness." Relying on others to fix your life is a recipe for disappointment. This doesn't mean you should shut people out. Connection matters, but resilience starts with self-reliance. You have to be your own anchor before you can lean on anyone else. The Stoics would tell you to build your own strength, so when others fail you, and they will, you're still standing. So how do you actually live this philosophy? How do you take the Stoics' wisdom and apply it to the chaos of your daily life? Let's get practical. Here are 5 Stoic-inspired strategies to build resilience and rise above the storm. Strategy 1. Practice negative visualization. This one sounds grim, but stick with me. The Stoics used a technique called premeditatio malorum, imagining the worst-case scenario. Not to scare themselves, but to prepare. Every morning, take a moment to think about what could go wrong today. Your car could break down, your boss could snap at you, your plans could fall apart. Then ask, if this happens, how will I respond? This isn't about pessimism, it's about readiness. By mentally rehearsing the worst, you strip it of its power. When chaos hits, you're not shocked, you're ready. You've already walked through the fire in your mind, so the real thing feels manageable. Strategy 2. Journal your thoughts. Marcus Aurelius didn't just rule an empire, he wrote to himself. His meditations were his private reflections, a way to process chaos and stay grounded. Try this. Every night, write down 3 things that challenged you today and how you handled them. Then write 1 thing you can improve tomorrow. This isn't just journaling, it's training your mind to see chaos as a puzzle, not a threat. Strategy 3. Practice voluntary discomfort. Seneca used to sleep on the floor or skip meals, not because he was a masochist, but because he wanted to remind himself that he could handle hardship. You don't have to go that far, but try small acts of discomfort. Take a cold shower, skip your morning coffee, or tackle a task you've been avoiding. These micro-challenges build mental toughness, so when life gets hard, you're not rattled. Strategy 4. Focus on the present. How much energy do you waste worrying about the future or regretting the past? The Stoics were obsessed with the present moment. Epictetus said, "There is only one way to happiness, and that is to cease worrying about things which are beyond the power of our will." When chaos hits, narrow your focus. What can you do right now? Take 1 step, then another. The storm might rage, but you're moving forward, 1 deliberate choice at a time. Strategy 5. Cultivate gratitude. This one's deceptively powerful. The Stoics didn't have much, but they found joy in what they had. Marcus wrote, "Think of what you have rather than what you lack." At the end of each day, write down 3 things you're grateful for. They don't have to be big. Maybe it's a warm meal, a kind word, or the fact that you're still breathing. Gratitude shifts your perspective from scarcity to abundance, making chaos feel less overwhelming. Let's bring it full circle. Resilience isn't just about surviving, it's about becoming sovereign, untouchable. Not because you're immune to pain, but because you've learned to wield it. The Stoics didn't promise a life free of chaos. They promised a life where chaos can't break you. And that's the ultimate power. Think about the people you admire most, the ones who seem to glide through life's storms with a quiet confidence. They're not superhuman. They've just mastered the art of resilience. They've learned to control their mind, embrace obstacles, reframe pain, and act with virtue. And you can too. But here's the catch. Resilience isn't a one-time achievement. It's a practice, a daily choice to show up, to face the chaos, to keep moving forward even when you're scared, tired, or broken. It's about waking up each morning and saying, "I'm still here and I'm not done yet." So, here we are, standing at the edge of the cliff again. The storm is still raging, the waves still crashing. But you're different now. You've got the Stoics in your corner, Marcus, Seneca, Epictetus, whispering their wisdom across the ages. You've got a blueprint to rise above chaos, to turn pain into power, to forge resilience in the fires of adversity. This isn't the end of your journey, it's the beginning. The world will keep throwing storms your way. That's a promise. But so is this. You are stronger than you know. You are built to endure, to adapt, to overcome. And every time you choose to stand tall, to steer your boat through the river, to love your fate, you become a little more sovereign, a little more unbreakable. So I leave you with a question. What's the storm you're facing right now? The one that keeps you up at night? The one that makes you doubt yourself? Pause this video, write it down, and then ask yourself, what would Marcus Aurelius do? What would Seneca say? How would Epictetus handle this? Their answer is your answer. Face the chaos, embrace the obstacle, reframe the pain, act with virtue, and above all, keep going. If this journey has stirred something in you, if it's made you see your storms in a new light, then I invite you to keep walking this path with me. Subscribe to Emorations, where we dive deep into the raw truths of life, blending psychology, philosophy, and storytelling. Like this video if you're ready to rise above chaos. Share it with someone who needs to hear this message. And in the comments, tell me, what's the storm you're facing and how are you going to conquer it? Your story matters. Your resilience matters. Until next time, keep your mind sharp, your heart steady, and your spirit sovereign. The storm is coming. But you're ready.